After 30 years sitting around the gaming table, I was becoming a little bit frustrated by the disconnect between what happened in my mind and what actually happened in the game. Because in my mind, in my imagination, my warrior would be skipping around, doing clever sword tricks and fencing with the opponents. Would be my starship navigator would be carefully plotting courses and steering the ship around and slingshotting it around black holes. But what happened on the table, what actually happened, was roll your skill, roll to hit. The problem was that the character's skills and abilities were too linear, too isolated from each other. You could have a high score in astrophysics or alchemy or zoology or whatever it is was necessary for your character, representing maybe years and years of study in that field. And that was great, as long as what you were trying to do fitted exactly in what that skill was. The problem was when you came into a situation where, having a background in that skill was helpful in another task. Say, disarming a trap which had a chemical fire in it. Surely the fact that I am an expert in alchemy would help me disarm the trap. But no, it's a disabled device rolls. The fact that you're an expert in alchemy is completely irrelevant. Whereas we all know in everyday life that we draw on lots of different parts of our experiences and our knowledges. And each little bit plays a part. I mean, we just draw the bits which are relevant together. And this is what I want to do with 66. I wanted to find a way where skills and abilities weren't fixed. They weren't tightly defined, and that in situation X you use power Y. But that where I could combine my mutant superpower for web slinging with my knowledge of geometry to sling around the buildings a lot easier. The 66 RPG introduces two key concepts, that of potential and advantages. Potential is simply just how much you can do and how quickly. Effectively, in a combat situation, it's how much you can do in a round. Except the key difference is that it's not fixed. It ebbs and flows, so that if you do a lot one round, there's less you can do the next round. Conversely, rest up for a round or two, and you've suddenly got a lot more potential and you can do a lot more. There's also no fixed limits about a movement action and a standard action in a round. All you have is potential. You can use that to move several times, to act several times, or do nothing if that suits you. You get to choose what order and how you use your potential. In the 66 RPG, there are no fixed stats, no fixed character sheets with a list of skills and a list of abilities which you tick or score or whatever. In fact, instead, a 66 character is made up purely of advantages. So I was looking very much for a system which is simple, something where you don't have to read lots, where the individual abilities are simple, the basic mechanics are simple, it's quick and easy to play. So with advantages, you combine them to use it, to do things. But there are no rules about how you combine those advantages. So, some combinations make perfect sense. I want to hit something with my sword, I can use my sword, I can use it as my sword advantage, I can use my brawn advantage, I can use my weapon expertise advantage. Maybe I can even use my dodge advantage, because as I'm diving in, I'm nimbly avoiding his defensive blows. The whole gaming table has to agree that it makes sense, that it's an appropriate combination of advantages, and that they really are going to give you an advantage in this situation. This process of justifying your combinations of advantages is part and parcel of the game. It makes the game social. You have to explain how your character is doing something. You have to bridge the disconnect between what is in your head and what is on your character sheet. 66 was founded 5 years ago in 2008, and since about 3 years ago I've been working on it full time, developing the 66 RPG. And we knew how important it was to playtest the game, how it was to make sure that the game itself was polished and worked well and that we could explain it well. So we spent about 18 months playtesting the game, and then we sort of produced the PDF, and we spent the next 18 months demonstrating and running the game in clubs and conventions all around the country. I've lost count of how many different demonstrations games we've done. Quite often we're at conventions and we have 3 different tables running 66, running different settings of 66, and we'll have morning and afternoon sessions, so we'd actually run an awful lot of sessions. And every time we ran the game for somebody new, we never did this with people who had played the game before, only with people who were playing it for the very first time. We got them to fill in a little card about their experiences and their thoughts on the games. And we collected about 250 of these cards, and certain words cropped up time and time and time again. That it was fun, quick, easy to learn, creative, innovative. These are the words which other people use to describe our game having played. This Kickstarter is all about getting 66 RPG, which has been a hit on the UK convention scene and in the clubs, out to a wider audience, to a worldwide audience. And that means producing a professional quality, full-size book which can go into distribution and into retail in all the gaming shops around the world. We have 5 existing products. There's a 66 core rulebook itself. This tells you how to play the game. Then we have 4 different adventures in widely different styles. The whole point about the 66 RPG is that it's genreless. You can apply it to any settings. So we set out to prove that in our adventures we published. So we have Mince Pies and Murder, an Agatha Christie style 1920s whodunit. Savage Island, a fantasy adventure where you're shipwrecked on a strange and desolate island. We have Outbreak, our zombie apocalypse adventure. And finally, we have Quantum Flux. This is our science fiction deep space salvage adventure, which just might involve aliens and mad AIs. 66 prides itself on its innovation, not just in the way our game works, but in the way we sell our products. For instance, when you buy the PDF of the 66 core, or in fact a PDF of any of our products, you are buying that game forever. Because of the living document promise, it means we will always send you the most up-to-date version of the PDF forever. So when we're on version 9 of the 66 core, you'll get it. No questions asked, PDF straight to you. Because we believe that you should only ever have to buy a game once. We also have an innovative way of selling you the future. On the box set edition, you have the option of plus 1 year or plus lifetimes. And they are quite simple. With the plus 1 year, you get PDFs of everything we release in the next year. So, we have 5 major settings currently planned which should be out in the next year. That includes 66 Magic, our sort of generic fantasy setting. We've got Rebel Flesh, a modern horror, fairly gruesome horror setting. We have 66 Hellenic, adventuring as champions of the gods in ancient Greek. We have 66 Bots, a dystopian strange science fiction future where you play robots and are servants of humanity. Finally, we have 66 Lovecraft, which, as the name suggests, is all about H.P. Lovecraft, and we're going backstory will be looked at in turn about the monsters, the nature of the madness, the way to build this sort of adventure. Sets plus lifetime just extends that idea. You get whatever we produce as a company. Doesn't matter which game. Doesn't have to be 66 role-playing game. If we do other games in the future, anything we do, absolutely anything 66 does in the future, you will get for free.